started in just a second. Pulling up my, my little go-to notes to refer back to just in case I either forget what I was talking about and go on a tangent or just lose my place in general. Also to, keep myself on track to make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, there we go. Got them up in the background so we can get started, because like I said, I just don't want to miss any points, and I feel like if I have notes, that's the best way for me to not miss any points, and be able to refer back to when I go on a tangent, because y'all know I'll go on a tangent about stuff, all related, but there's so many topics to hit when it comes to our health. So I'm trying to stay on topic far as us talking about the truth when it comes to hormonal imbalances and understanding the feminine reset that we need to go through and how we need to start in really shaping and impacting the next generation as well as our current generations that are here, because there are so many people that are dealing with the same issue and don't realize that it's healable, one, and two, we are not taught how to support our body the way that we should be as a woman specifically. And so this is the reason why we go through years of having painful menstrual cycles and not understanding how our hormones should be balanced and how they should be operating and how we should be operating and how we should be syncing with our cycle instead of working against it. We are told that painful menstrual cycles, PCOS, fibroids, cysts, endometriosis, this weight gain, or hormonal imbalances are normal. These things are not normal. These are symptoms and these are signs that your body is giving you that you have an imbalance. Everything is out of whack. You're having an overload of different things going on inside of your body when it comes to toxins, inflammation. It could be going on inside of your body when it comes to toxins, inflammation. It could be an overload of estrogen, progesterone. It could be an overload of androgens. There's a different number of hormones that could be going all against each other, making you have a dysfunction, making you have pain, making you have the weight fluctuation, making you suffer. And we're sitting here in a society that teaches us that this is normal. This is something that you have to go through because you're a woman, or this is just something that you just have to deal with and manage with a painkiller or a birth control, some type of prescription or a medication or a surgery. Behind getting to the root cause of that imbalance is understanding that this is not permanent and this is reversible. This is not something that you are born with and you have to keep for the rest of your life and you have to deal with for the rest of your life. But rather, you have to understand that the habits that you have been trained into since you started eating, since you started being able to do things on your own and be independent, you have been taught to throw off your hormones. Things on your own and be independent. You have been taught to throw off your hormones. And so you're not taught how to get rebalanced. You're not taught how to support your hormones. You have been taught to throw off your hormones. And so you're not taught how to get rebalanced. You're not taught how to support your hormones. You're not taught how to not have a painful menstrual. So many women are struggling with the same issue and they don't understand, or they're not putting the connection that the reason why is because you're managing. You're doing the same thing expecting a different result. We have seen years of women managing these issues. We've seen years of women thinking that they have to have a surgery, a hysterectomy, a fibroid removed, a cyst removed surgically. And so we all do the same things of relying on birth control, surgeries, and thinking that these medications are working instead of being taught. Think about the fact that your bone, if it breaks, let's say you break your arm, it gets reset. It resets itself to go back to its normal state. But when you keep irritating the injury, when you don't leave it alone, when you keep putting on that needs to be supported, that needs to be left alone, what's going to happen? Bone has to be left and rehabilitated. You have to think of your body the same way. To be hungry, etc., etc. But that's not the truth of the reality. Behind that reality of you leaving your body alone and supporting it to get rid of these toxins and not being in a toxic state is you realizing that resetting and releasing means that you have to cleanse, you have to detox. Resetting and releasing means that you have to cleanse, you have to detox. Supporting your body is using food as your medicine. This is how you help your body be able to heal. Knowing how to break the cycle by cycle syncing, dealing with the imbalance wrong. And so there are so many women dealing with the same issue because they're not putting two and two together. A little poor. So we can get back to the topic at hand. Let's see if it goes back to green. It's a yellow. It was red, but now it's a yellow. Okay, now it's a green. Hopefully that's better for you guys. So, your feminine essence is under attack. Your feminine health is under attack specifically. And it's through your food, environmental toxins, stress, misinformation, you believing that you can spray perfume on all your intimate parts and not even know what's in it, and you doing these different things that are causing a cycle of imbalances, and you're not really getting to the root cause to heal, but rather managing. And so you sit here in this endless cycle of eating toxic foods, putting toxic things on your body, using toxic chemicals in your home, and you're worried about the environmental stressors. You're worried about the environmental toxins, but you're not realizing that the environment that you put yourself in every single day that you have a choice to avoid, you poison yourself in that aspect. And so you worrying about the environmental toxins are the least of your, they should be the least of your worries. Because when you think about the fact that your body naturally designed to heal itself, it naturally does this. Scripturally, it literally tells you. And obviously, observationally, we know this because like I just talked about, broken bones. You are able to heal and break that cycle. So why are we not healing? Why is your body not being supported? Why are you still dealing with the same symptoms, but you're trying different things? Why are you having all this pain? Why have you cut out certain foods and yet you're still dealing with the same issue? It's because you have not gotten to the root cause of your issue. Hi, Boo, welcome in. So, when you keep being stuck in this same cycle, you are going to be imbalanced. You have to break away from what societal norms are and realize that society is programmed against you healing. It's programmed against you supporting your body and knowing how to support your body in a natural way, a non-chemical way. Because when you are healthy, when you are knowing how to support your body in healing, when you know what your actual natural design does and how it's supposed to operate, they can't profit off of you not going back and forth to the doctor, you having to take prescriptions, you needing a surgery. And as we're seeing when it comes to what is happening with our coverage for our surgeries and anesthesia and et cetera, when you look at, if you haven't looked at it, you need to be looking. But if you, when you look at the women that are needing fibroid surgery because they're believing the doctor when they tell you that your fibroid has to be surgically removed, and they're panicking because they're not being covered under their insurance, that should clue you in on the fact that these things are not getting any better in our society when it comes to our health. And they realize this and they know this. And so instead of them being like, this is a problem, this is an epidemic that we have to tackle, and since surgery is the solution, we should be giving it to more people. They're restricting it. So when are you going to tune into the fact that this is not the solution? And not only is it not the solution, but they're also restricting it to make it seem like this is a hot commodity that you only get if you have a certain amount of income, if you can only afford this insurance, or you can only afford this much when you have to pay out of pocket. There's an agenda. And so you have to really look at the full and total picture to see the agenda that is going on. And the reason why that they are so heavily banked on this topic of not being balanced for women specifically is because they know that when your feminine essence is under attack and your hormones are imbalanced, your brain is going to be off. Your functions and your organs are going to be off. Obviously, you're not going to be able to reproduce children, as well as the fact that you're going to keep trying different solutions that are under their umbrella of things that are managing the symptoms and managing the issue, because you can't sit here and function every day and go to work. You can't take care of your kids or your family or whoever else, even yourself, if you are not in a healthy state to be able to function. I am somebody who used to deal with the painful menstrual cycle that literally would almost take me out every single month. I know now from what I have learned over the years of me being plant-based and supporting my body, what I eat throughout the month is going to directly impact how my cycle is. If I'm not supporting myself throughout the month, I expect my cycle to be terrible. As I support myself and sync with my cycle like I do, I know that my cycle is not going to be terrible. It's not going to be bad. I'm going to be able to function through it. I still need rest because that's a time of rest. But you understand that it's not going to be terrible. You're not going to be feeling like you have to pass out. You're not going to be cramping heavily. You're not going to be bleeding heavily. You're not going to have this irregular cycle. Thank you so much for the rose. I really appreciate it. So you have to break away from that cycle by getting to the root cause of the issue that is causing all of this hormonal imbalance. And getting to the root cause looks like you understanding that you are in a hormonally chaotic state. And so now you have to learn exactly how do you rebalance your body? How do you gain back that balance? And by the end of this, I am going to break this down for you step by step of what's going on and then how you get to starting a blueprint that actually helps you start to heal from the inside out, to support your body from the inside out without diets, without prescriptions, without you having to have a surgery or any other temporary band-aid that they keep promoting to you that makes absolutely no sense for you to keep consuming or doing or trying. Because as somebody who was once in the space that a lot of women are in, millions of women are in, I can tell you that you don't have to keep sitting here trying all of these birth controls and prescriptions and surgeries. I didn't try a surgery for sure, but I was trying the medications and prescriptions. I was taking pain pills before my cycle, during my cycle, afterwards, trying to manage the pain and figure out how do I stop this from happening. And I was on birth control for a year, threw my hormones off even more. And so I'm saying this as somebody who was in this space of trying all of these different solutions and trying to figure out how do I manage this? How do I help it? How do I get rid of it? And none of it was working. And the reason why is because you're not getting your body back on track, what it's asking you to do, what it's speaking to you, because these signs and symptoms that you're going through is your body's way of talking to you. And so you have to unlock the sustainable habits that support your full body healing and not just focusing on one aspect of, oh, I'm tired of the pain, so I want to get rid of the pain. Oh, I'm tired of having a cycle, so let me just go ahead and take this and then I'll take my placebo so that I don't have to have a cycle. Your menstrual cycle is there to tell you how healthy you are. So when you're going through all of these issues, that's a key sign to let you know you are overloaded with toxins and your insides are unhealthy. Regardless if you work out, regardless if you eat salads all the time, regardless if you do keto or paleo or you think that diet culture is supporting you. If your cycle is irregular, there is some imbalance that is wrong inside of you that you can correct and you should be working towards correcting. You just have to figure out what's going on. And so let's talk about what's going on in our society and how we are in a silent epidemic when it comes to hormonal imbalances, when it comes to women specifically. And so hormonal disorders are not rare. We know this. They're widespread across the earth. There are millions of women dealing with the same issue, and millions of women are not realizing that they can heal, but managing with the prescription or surgery or et cetera, like I've listed before. PCOS affects out of every 10 women, one of them have PCOS worldwide. And so that's about 70% of women that are, not 70, I'm going to say about 80, because that's about 80% of women that are dealing with it, and about 70% of them go undiagnosed. That's crazy to think about. It takes about 7 to 10 years for these women to actually get diagnosed with endometriosis. I don't even know how long the statistic is for PCOS, but I know for sure by the time that you hit the age of 50, you are more likely to have fibroids. 80% of black women specifically, by the time that they hit the age of 50, will be diagnosed with fibroids. These three things that I have listed, PCOS, fibroids, and endometriosis, are all three tied to not only your menstrual cycle, but also tied to an overload of toxins and inflammation, hormonal imbalances. So, when you look at these statistics and you realize that, okay, there are millions of women dealing with the same issue, millions of women dealing with hormonal imbalances, and yet we're not figuring out how to heal it, to help it. Why? Why are we dealing with so many women that are struggling and suffering from the same aspects? And then we look at the infertility rates, which is absolutely insane right now. And out of every couple, if you count 6 couples, one of them is dealing with infertility rates. Millions of couples around the world, out of every single couple on the earth, when you count 6, one of them is dealing with some type of infertility issue. Hormonal imbalances play a huge major role. That's the reason why when you take, let's say like you take in vitro, you get the injections, et cetera, right? They have to play around with your hormones. That's the reason why it's so expensive, not only for the shots and all the infertilization and all the different things that they do for you, the fertilization, not infertilization, but the fertilization, all the things that they have to do and the tests they have to run. It's because they're trying to get your hormones back to where they're naturally supposed to be, but chemicals don't do that. I personally know someone who went through the process several times of trying to get their infertility issues fixed through the way of in vitro. I couldn't get it out. And funny enough, after those times of them doing in vitro, they naturally got pregnant. They started to do natural remedies and they naturally got pregnant after the in vitro didn't work. After they were talking about how they spent so much money, they were saving up to try to do it again. It didn't work. And the reason why they got pregnant was because they started to use natural remedies to start getting pregnant. They started eating more plant-based foods. They started to support the body in getting back to a space that was not chaotic. Because a lot of women are not realizing this, but a lot of y'all's infertility issues can be solved and can be fixed just by you sitting back and stop adding in toxins. You don't have to take a herbal supplement. You don't have to do all these different things and surgeries and taking prescriptions and everything else. If you just stop filling your body with toxic foods, your body would naturally go back to the state of less inflammation, supporting your hormone balance. If you were eating correctly and using food as a rainbow, using food as medicine and eating a rainbow plate. But y'all don't know how to do that. And so when somebody brings up, oh, you have to eat healthier, your immediate thought is, okay, I'm going to have to eat salads for like a week. Okay, I have to do keto or paleo. I'm going to have to eat this way for a certain amount of time. Diet culture has made you believe that you can eat momentarily good and that you can go back to the same way and it'll be fine. And we see the evidence that that does not work. Yet we are so heavily trained in diet culture that we believe that it works even though we know it doesn't. And it's crazy. It's really crazy. Because the way that you help your body not only get into the space of balanced hormones and stay in the space, you change your lifestyle. If you've been throwing your hormones off for years on end, you cannot sit there and do a diet and do eating salads and keto and paleo and Weight Watchers for a month or even a week and then expect and turn around and be like, oh, my body's going to heal itself in this short amount of time when you've been eating crap for 20 plus years. You've been eating crap for 50 years. There's no way. How your body is able to reset itself and to be supported through the space is you realizing that the habits that you have are terrible and toxic. They're feeding you toxins because you are trained subconsciously to do the things that are against the way that your body's supposed to function. So now you have to reparent those habits so that you now subconsciously train yourself to choose the better options and realize subconsciously, hey, that thing is not supporting me, nor do I want it anymore. I don't even crave it anymore. And I know it's possible because I did this for myself. I'm over 4 years into being plant-based. I did this for myself early on because I realized very quickly as I started to cut things out how toxic they were to my body, how my body wasn't being supported. I was looking for solutions for years, trying different things for years, and the only thing that actually worked was me using food as my medicine. Understanding that a plant-based lifestyle isn't me just eating a salad and me just sitting here being hungry like diet culture teaches you. But eating plant-based is learning how to make plant-based foods that you crave and that you love. If you love burgers, if you love chicken, if you love etc., making it in a plant-based form that is still delicious and filling because you're actually getting nutrients from the food that you eat. The reason why y'all eat these foods, you eat these salads and you do diet culture and you're still so hungry is because you're in a calorie deficit with a lack of nutrition. Y'all are calorie counting, keeping these things away from you and sitting here believing that, oh my goodness, I have to starve. But you're not realizing the reason why you're starving is because you're lacking nutrients. There is no reason for you to be walking around here hungry. There is absolutely no reason for you to be sitting here hungry. And the fact that you are, it's a tell sign to let you know you're not giving your body anything that it needs, and it needs these things to heal. So how you start supporting your body is figuring out what is causing this hormonal chaos inside of my body. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. It's a never-ending cycle, Angel, exactly. It's a never-ending cycle of sitting here, putting these terrible toxic foods inside of your body, and then expecting something different. Trying different things of, okay, well, I cut out eggs, I cut out milk, but you're still eating meat, or I cut out milk, but I'm still eating meat, or I cut out meat, but I'm still eating dairy. You do these momentary things of like, okay, I'm going to give here, but I'm still going to be doing this because this is what I want to do, or I don't feel like I'm comfortable enough to be able to do this, or I don't think I can function without it. And then you wonder why it's not working because you didn't change. You just cut one thing out. That's not changing. Changing is completely establishing your lifestyle, looking at it and saying, okay, I know this is not helping me because it's inflammatory. I've learned that this is inflammatory. I understand how this throws off my hormones. So I'm going to wean myself off of all of it, not just because I believe that this is not the problem and this is the problem, but really assessing all of it to understand it's all the food that you were eating that you need to assess, not just one aspect, all of it. Because if you don't understand what is going on inside of your food, then there's no reason for you to assume that this is not the problem. He said, I've been plant-based and cut out soy processed foods, but why am I still having a painful menstrual cycle? I don't know how long you've been plant-based, and I also don't know how long you've cut out soy. I would need more information for me to be able to not just be like, oh, this is the reason why you're having it, but just be able to understand where you're coming from. Because like I said, like, I can literally pinpoint when I know that my cycle is not going to be at its peak of like, okay, I'm going to be able to function. I'm going to be fine through this part. But then during the times that I do support my body, I understand because I have to cycle sync. You have to cycle sync. You've been 4 years, so it's about around the same time that I've been. So yes, I have been on both sides of the spectrum of not having any pain, actually going through it, being comfortable, and then I've been on the space of being uncomfortable, having that, even through me being plant-based, having that painful menstrual cycle and realizing, oh, you didn't sync, you ate too much sugar during this time, etc., etc. So that's why I said I have to know more of like what you eat, what you consume. I know now how long you've been plant-based. So it's a number of different things, and I do teach how to cycle sync in my program because that is an important part as a woman to understand how you are supposed to support your body in getting back hormonally balanced, because cycle syncing is literally eating for your cycle, understanding your phases of your cycle, not overworking yourself, not putting yourself in a hard time. Boo said it, so is fasting not good? I never said that, Boo. I never said that. No, I fast and I intermittent fast every single day. You should be fasting. Fasting is not only spiritually you should be fasting because it's a spiritual thing, but also there's a reason why spiritually in scriptural you are told to fast. Because oh no, I was just saying, like, because the way you worded it, I was just like, I never said that. But yeah, you were told to fast. You are supposed to be fasting because your body goes through its different phases and different states as you fast. So fasting not only gives your body time to digest and to reset itself, but it also gives your body time to expel those toxins and not have to worry about, oh, you're eating, so let me have your digestive tract functioning to digest the foods, and your gut also is able to reset itself. So that is something that you need to do. And if you were like learning how to do that and you've never done it, for everybody that's in the chat, if you've never done a fast, you should not just automatically assume that you're going to be able to do a 24-hour fast because you feel like it and you think you should. You should always support yourself in setting yourself up to be able to fast correctly. And so if you are in the space where you want to learn how to do that, you don't know how to do a cleanse, you don't know how to do a detox effectively, and you're trying to figure out how to do that, I do have a cleansing and detoxing bundle that's linked in my bio that will support you to be able to do that. That's not exactly what we've been talking about today, so I will just mention that and leave it there. If you are ready for that and that's something that you were interested in, is linked in my bio. Yes, I need to fast more. Yes, that's something you should do. And yes, you should be cycle syncing. As a woman, we should be cycle syncing. So that's what I'm talking about, like hormonal balances. We are so hormonally imbalanced because we're not taught how to eat for our cycle, eat with our cycle, to support our cycle. And even when you do a Google search, from what I was studying, because this took me some time, a quick Google search doesn't even get you what you need. Even through me doing extensive Google searching, not just Google, but all the search browsers that I have, it doesn't explain it the way that it should be from a plant-based point of view. There is still explaining it from a very inflammatory place. And so from knowing what I know from being plant-based and learning what I've learned, it has really helped me to see from the inside, look like the outside looking in, how they give you momentary little sprinkles of this is how you help yourself, but then they throw in all of the things that are going to still make you imbalanced. Because I had one woman who was talking to me and was saying that she's cut out meat. I think she said she was getting away from dairy, but she still eats eggs for her protein. And I'm like, okay, but who told you to do that? Like, why? Like, I was saying to say like that, but like, why? And she was saying because her protein. She was also talking about how her doctor had suggested to eat for her blood type. And I was like, okay, well, that's two different things right there of why I know that This doctor is not supporting you in healing, but rather just showing you and telling you what their programming is, because they're programmed into learning these things. You have to have eggs, you have to have meat, you have to have dairy, because if not, you're going to be lacking nutrition, you're going to be lacking protein, your bones are going to be brittle. Whatever they train them into when they're in medical school, that's what they're going to spit back to you. But they don't tell you that eggs, and they even say this, they say that you're suggested that you can have 1 egg a day, but if you go over 7 eggs a week, you are more likely to have high cholesterol later on in life. But they don't break down and tell you that it raises your cholesterol as well as your blood pressure. So you are not only going to lead yourself having high cholesterol and high blood pressure, but things are getting worse when it comes to our health. And I'm going to get back on women's health, but I just want us to understand that they're not getting any better. So all these little studies that they're throwing out, that they're like, oh yeah, this works. They used to be eating eggs this time and they've been doing this. And then you refer back to this study from the early 2000s. There's a reason why now they're seeing that when women weren't dealing with this in the 90s and the early 2000s, how now all these women are dealing with hormonal imbalances, all this infertility, dealing with all these different issues. And what do we have running rampant in our society? A bunch of people who eat meat and dairy, a bunch of processed snacks full of soy, a bunch of processed snacks full of toxic additives and fillers. And they promote to our children when they go to school, you need dairy. So go ahead and give them 2 sources of dairy a day. They have to have this kind of meat. They need to be eating this on the side. And they give them a little itty bitty amount of the nastiest things of vegetables on the side. No seasoning, no thing that makes it enticing. Or they slap it with inflammatory cheese. So this is what I mean, that like we are trained into a society that keeps poisoning us, and then we wonder why. We sit here and we're trying to figure out how we're so hormonally imbalanced, but they program us into this. They force us into a system and then they push it towards you, so then it becomes subconscious thought. So I don't fault people who sit here and say that like, yeah, my doctor told me I have to eat for my blood type, because I understand where you're coming from. But at what point are we going to start questioning? Because when I tell you to eat a plant-based lifestyle, you have all the questions in the world. When I tell you that I'm plant-based, you have all the questions in the world. How do I get this? How do I get this? How are you getting this? But you don't question anything with the doctor when they tell you, hey, you need to eat eggs. Why do I need to eat eggs? Does it not give me high cholesterol? Does it not give me high blood pressure? How is this not help? How have I been eating eggs all my life, and yet somehow I'm still dealing with the same issue? And so it's really crazy that we sit here and we have these toxic habits and we stress ourselves out with our day-to-day life, and then our body's in fight or flight mode, preventing our healing, and we're still confused about how this lifestyle is not working for us. I wish that we were in a society that promoted us growing our own gardens in our own backyard versus having homeowners associations and et cetera, that put all these rules and regulations against us actually being able to sustain ourselves. I wish we actually had fresh gardens. I wish our supermarkets were just like, what is it called? The farmer's market. I wish farmer's markets and were everywhere. And I wish it looked more like instead of us going in and it being a grocery store, it looked more like an outside area that had full fresh markets of just fresh foods, less processed foods. I wish it was harder for us to find processed foods than it was organic foods. But that's not our reality. And especially if you live in America, that's not our reality. They push the bad foods onto us, they market towards us, and then when we get hooked onto it because we eat it and the chemicals throw us off completely, because a lot of people are so heavily addicted to dairy. They're addicted to processed foods. And then they're addicted to meat. And you don't realize the reason why you crave these things so heavily, the reason why the craving feels like it's literally pulling you towards it, you feel like you have to have it, is because they put chemicals inside of it that make you addicted. They love to put these chemicals inside of your body to make you addicted. This is the reason why they do studies, to sit here and put these things in your food, and then they have these pure taste testings to see how addicting it is. They literally put chemicals inside of food to make you want to consume it more. This is how they throw off your balance with processed snacks. This is how they throw off your balance with meat and dairy. Because a lot of people don't realize this. Dairy and meat both have additives. They both have fillers. That's the reason why your meat stays white or pink or whatever color the meat is, and it doesn't turn colors. This is the reason why when you go to the snack aisle and you're hungry, you can't make a discerning thought, because they play on your eyes with colors and they play on your taste buds with the, ooh, I remember what that tastes like. That was delicious. And then you go to the dairy section and you're thinking about how good that cheese tastes and how good that cheese is. And all you can think about now is going to get cheese dip. And then you're sitting here thinking like, ooh, a grilled cheese, ooh, a sandwich with a good hefty amount of cheese on it. And you're just thinking about how cheese tastes so good, right? But you're not realizing that they also add chemicals inside of the cheese to make you addicted to it as well. And there's studies on this. And the only reason why they started promoting and pushing dairy towards us as a society is because back in the day, when they promoted and pushed all these dairy farmers to start producing more dairy, because they said it's going to be a profitable margin. They needed it for the war, for them to make powdered milk, and et cetera, et cetera. And then when they came back and they no longer needed it anymore because the war was over, and so everybody's looking at each other like, okay, what are we going to do with all this milk? Because you told me you were going to pay me for this milk, and now you have no profit margin. They were like, I know. I'm going to promote it to these people in their homes. So this is when they started doing promotions on TV. This is when they started doing marketing for commercials. Because this was around the time where people were starting to get TVs in their home, but it was very limited. They still had radios. People were still listening to radios. So what did they start doing? They started promoting ads. Ads for dairy. Oh, it's so much easier for your mom at home to get skim milk and powdered milk from the store and add water instead of you having going out to milk your cows. Oh, you're tired, you're stressed out, you're a working mom. Guess what? You don't have to milk your cows anymore. We're giving you milk. You don't have to milk your goats anymore. Here's your milk. Even if we weren't designed to be sitting here consuming cow's milk, because we're not, scripturally, when you look at it, we're not supposed to be consuming any milk besides goat milk, or is it lamb and goat? I think it's lamb and goat. If it's not, it's just goat. Hi, Shine, how are you doing? So just thinking about it, full picture, not even just scripturally, but psychologically, in scripture, as well as experience from literally observing, they're playing on y'all's top and you're not realizing it. It's a whole scheme. It's a whole scam. They make candy colorful, full of dye, and then they wonder why these kids are running around crazy. They wonder why the kid can't sit down after they give it to them. And then they wonder why the child screams when they don't get it in the store. You have chemically made that child addicted, just like somebody who is addicted to drugs. Like, that's just what it is. That's just what it is. The same way when you crave sugar, it literally stimulates your dopamine response like a drug. So when are you going to put two and two together that they are literally microdosing you? And to the point where you overconsume it and the microdosing ain't working no more. It ain't microdosing no more. It's now giving, full on. Like, there is no micro. I'm going to move this. I feel like it was too, I just lost a little. Now it's like looking chunky, but I'd rather have it full over. They do. They love it. I keep losing little jewels. I'm trying to fold this over because it's too big. But then it's like too bulky. Okay. I think, is your name is me? She says she needs to lose weight. Well, if you need to lose weight, this live is going to be for you. We're going to keep going with our points of understanding the hormonal chaos. So blood sugar imbalances. A lot of people are not realizing this, and this is a big epidemic that we're going through. Diabetes, insulin resistance. Your blood sugar imbalance is a silent trigger for not only your insulin resistance and your inflammation being overloaded, but also weight gain. This is the reason why that they talk about, and it's been directly linked, that when you are overweight and you don't do anything about being overweight, you are more likely to develop diabetes. And then over time, you will develop type 2. Type 2, undealt with, leads to type 3. And so it's because you are sitting there, when you have that excess weight gain, that excess fat, toxins store inside of there. And then obviously your body's in a panic mode when you have that overload of inflammation. And so they're going hand in hand, fighting against your body, and your body is in panic mode. And then every single day when you eat, you're spiking your insulin because you use no stabilizers. And so as this goes on, this is throwing off your hormones, and it's going to cause you to have painful menstrual cycles and be uncomfortable. It's going to cause these different issues of that bloating during that time, and before and after, and etc. in between, that PMS that you're having. All those sensitivity symptoms. Dairy, meat, processed snacks, all of these are disrupting your hormones, and they're overloading your liver. Your liver is your detox. This is the detox area. So when you're not supporting your body in flushing your digestive tract and actually being clean and clear, your gut balance being, your gut biome being balanced, goodness, I'm trying to speak, y'all. These things are going to overload your liver, and your liver is sitting here full of toxins, and this is how you develop fatty liver disease. And so you're sitting here and your liver is like, I can't do anything else with this. Your blood sugar is too spiked. You have all these toxins, and so then it starts to leak. You have leaky gut because your gut biome is off. It starts to leak out of your liver, and guess what it starts to leak into? Your bloodstream. So now your kidneys are working overtime to try to filter your blood, to keep the sugar off of it, to keep the toxins out of it. Your kidney is working overtime, and it's like, oop, it's leaking. Oop, it's leaking. I don't know. Your pancreas is working overtime trying to balance your blood sugar, because every time you eat, you're spiking your blood sugar. So it's pumping out more natural insulin while it's trying to expel the non-natural insulin. And so you're going back and forth. Liver and pancreas are sitting here pumping. And instead of them doing their normal, like, okay, they're going, ooh, all day, every day. And so you're in this panic, fight, or flight mode, and you're not realizing you've been doing this for years. And so that year in and year out of fight or flight mode for 20 plus years, 30 plus years, 40, 50, 60, however long you live, or you have lived, or you continue to live, it's a crisis that you are leading yourself down, and you are leading yourself to a life of being in the hospital, taking prescriptions, going back and forth to a doctor, being uncomfortable, having painful menstrual cycles, not knowing that your body can heal itself, and then leading yourself to cancer. There is no reason. There is absolutely no reason. And this is leading to a health crisis as far as your blood sugar spiking and crashes. So this is triggering stress on your hormones. And so this is going to cause more weight gain, more inflammation, lead you to having diabetes. This inflammation overload, like I said, is overloading your liver, your pancreas, and your kidneys. So this is going to cause you to have chronic diseases, kidney disease, liver, fatty liver, you having your pancreas fail. A toxic gut is going to create a complete environment where parasites are thriving and they're living and they're having a good time. So they're going to keep throwing off your hormones and keep having imbalances happen. And the parasites are going to lead you to having more cravings, because the parasites are going to speak louder than you sitting there saying, well, I need to eat this. This is healthier for me. And your parasites are addicted to all the sugar that you eat. So your parasites are going to go, no, I think we want cookies. No, I think we want chips. We don't really want to eat the seasoned asparagus that you just baked. I think we want chips. And so you train this into your body. And so your body, when it's inflamed and it's overloaded with toxins, your hormones are always going to be imbalanced. They're always going to be painful with cycles. There's always going to be that sign that your body is speaking to you, that you have seen this and thought that it's normal, and it's not. These signs are your body's way of crying for help, and we have been taught to sit here and not pay attention to them, but rather ignore them or manage them with some type of momentary band-aid. So, when you are sitting here eating these foods that are wrecking your hormones, you are consuming dairy and meats, which are filled with synthetic hormones. They're filled with antibiotics. They're filled with inflammatory compounds. They're filled with preservatives. This overloads your liver. This overloads your liver because, like I said, this is the filter for toxins. All these things that are inside of your meat are toxins. All these things that are inside of your dairy are toxins. When you are eating refined sugars and grains and you're not supporting your insulin and being stabilized, you're going to be in insulin resistant state. So then this is leading you to have PCOS, cysts, fibroids, metabolic dysfunction, because you have to have stabilized blood sugar. This is the reason why you're having energy crashes. This is the reason why you're so fatigued. When you're dealing with the issue of consuming processed snacks and not looking at labels and reading your labels and knowing what these ingredients mean, rather than just looking at it and going, I don't know what disodium phosphate is, so I'm going to eat it because whatever, or knowing what citric acid is, you are packing hormone disruptors into your body every single day, and your body cannot expel these toxins because you don't naturally support your body in detoxing and releasing, but instead you overconsume these things, which throw off your chemical balance. So every time you were eating these inflammatory foods, you were feeding the conditions that are making you sick. Think about it just like how you don't want to feed parasites, so you fast or you cleanse. You're also feeding the disease that is going on, the inflammation that is going on, the discomfort and pain that's going on with your cycle, the hormone imbalance. And so you're going to be overweight. You're going to be hormonally imbalanced. You're going to be feeling sick and in pain. Your gut and your brain are directly connected. Your gut is connected to your brain, so that's going to throw off your hormones if your gut is off. If you're having leaky gut, it's leaking into the rest of the systems. They literally nicknamed your brain in science. Your gut, in science is literally nicknamed your second brain. I talked about the fact that you detox. I have a cleansing and detoxing guide that is linked in my bio. That's not what we're talking about directly today, but is a full total guide that is supposed to support you in detoxing and cleansing and understanding from using food as a rainbow, rather than you thinking that you have to starve and restrict, but understanding what foods support you in flushing and learning how to do it step by step in a space of being safe and comfortable, because there's so many people who talk about all of the side effects that they had when they tried to cleanse and detox, and I'm like, well, you didn't do it correctly. Because if you set yourself up to do it correctly, you shouldn't have any backlash. Yes, you're going to be uncomfortable because it's something new, but there shouldn't be signs of fatigue, you not having energy, you're starving, and you feel like you're not being able to function through your day. That's a negative side effect that shouldn't be happening. That means you're not setting yourself up during the time, before the time, and after. And so when you are sitting there destroying your health because your gut balance is off, so storing off your brain, your gut controls your hormones. 80% of your immune system is in your gut. So when it is compromised, your hormones are going to be off because you're in panic mode, because your immune system is not at its peak health. Your immune system is how you fight off disease and illnesses. So a toxic gut equals parasites thriving, inflammation spreading, estrogen building up, and then it's going to lead you to have PCOS, fibroids, infertility issues, endometriosis. If you were sitting here and you're like, okay, well, I don't know if I am completely backed up or if I'm full of toxins. I don't know if I really need to cleanse. I feel like I should, but like I don't really know if this is the cleanse for me or this is going to support me. I have some things that you should be assessing and be like, okay, maybe this is me, maybe it's not you. And that's great, because that's one step closer to the goal of what we're trying to do, which is balanced hormones. Do you go to the bathroom more than once a day? If you were not going to the bathroom, at least if you eat 2 to 3 times a day and you don't go to the bathroom and have a bowel movement 2 to 3 times a day, you are not healthy inside. You are backed up and you're full of toxins. If you feel bloated, if you feel sluggish, if you feel constipated, if you are going back and forth to the bathroom excessively, feeling like you're always having to pee, if you are dealing with chronic acne, if you're dealing with fatigue, if you're dealing with brain fog, these are all signs that you are backed up with toxins. If you're craving sugar heavily and it's to the point where it feels like this sugar has you by the neck, if you are craving carbs all the time, if you're craving processed foods all the time, if you're sitting here feeling like you always have some type of craving that is pulling you left or right and you cannot stop it, the parasites are inside of you and they're controlling your hunger. Because there is no reason for you to not be able to feel a craving, have a craving, drink some water, and move on about your day, or feed it later on. But when you're sitting there like, I have to have it right now, I have to have sugar right now, I have to have carbs right now, that's a parasite. When you're just sitting there like, oh, I kind of want a burger tonight, and you're like, that might be what I'm eating, that's different. But when you're sitting there and you're like, okay, I've eaten food, I've eaten plenty, I should be fine, I shouldn't really be hungry, and you're sitting there thinking, oh, I really want some cookies, I really want some ice cream, oh, I really would like some bread, some grilled cheese, etc., and you've already eaten today, and you're still craving carbs, sugar, and processed foods, and you've eaten a full plate, should be a full plate, that means you didn't get any nutrients with the food that you were eating, for one. And two, the parasites are speaking louder because the parasites are still hungry because you're malnourished. Malnourishment is making y'all sit here and overconsume and overeat and not get anything back from it. This is the reason why you have no energy when you wake up. You eat all this food before you go to bed, which should be getting you through to make it to the next day, to not be hungry when you wake up. But you wake up so hungry because you went to bed lacking the nutrients that you need for you to be stabilized throughout the night and to wake up still full. You're not flushing out waste day to day, nor are you supporting yourself. So you're reabsorbing toxins and it's throwing off your hormones, and you're not realizing that you have to eliminate these things from your life in order for you to get away from this cycle of you being in pain, you being uncomfortable, you having low energy, your body being inflamed. Release yourself from that hold. Release yourself. First, you have to understand, what have I been doing? And then you get to the space of, okay, now I'm ready to start learning what things help me be able to heal. What is the solution to the problem that I have figured out the problem is? Because you have to figure out what the problem is and then tackle the full problem. Not just, oh, okay, my gut is off, so I need to take a gut detox. No. Your gut is off, so that means all of your other systems have been off too. So you have to support the full body in flushing. Yes, we're going to tackle the gut, but the gut is not the only issue. It's not the only problem. Oh, my insulin is spiked. That does not mean the only thing that's wrong with you is that your pancreas is working overtime to produce insulin. That means your hormone balance is completely off. So there is no, oh, I'm going to focus on this one spot, this one aspect, this one thing, and fix it all. You have to fully transform your lifestyle to get that full healing that you're looking for, to get the full cleansing that you're looking for, to get the full detox that you're looking for. You have to understand how to break down the issue and then get to the solution through breaking down what the root cause of the problem was. So, what is our solution to how we start healing using a plant-based lifestyle? Because that's the only thing I can teach you through. That's the only thing I will teach you through, because that's the only thing that actually works, that you sustain. What you need to start doing. Hi, welcome in from Virginia. Happy to have you. First, balance your blood sugar. Understand how to get stabilizers so that it will stop your hormonal chaos, because you have to have stabilizers in your life in order for your body to be on complete balance, for you to have energy throughout the day, to make it throughout the day, to feel good throughout the day, to wake up with energy. Y'all are not getting enough stabilizers. This is the reason why you always have no energy and you always feel fatigued. So, eating fiber-rich foods, eating your proteins, healthy proteins from plants, eating healthy fats that come from fruits and vegetables, all of these things come from it. Stabilize your blood sugar. They help you be able to detoxify your body from the excess estrogen. If you are estrogen dominant like I once was, you need more fiber. Refuse and ditch these refined carbs that y'all keep consuming that are in these toxic, terrible processed foods, as well as you eating these terrible, toxic, processed, non-natural sugars. They're preventing your body from healing because it's causing an insulin spike. Insulin spikes fuel PCOS and weight gain. You are not supporting your liver enough through the process of you eating, which you should be doing with vegetables, with fruits, but specifically vegetables like broccoli, kale, and cabbage support your liver. They're going to help you flush out that excess estrogen and flush out other toxins that are inside of your liver that is not being supported right now with the way that you are consuming. The next step that you need to do is to learn how to heal your gut biome. Because your gut balance, like I said, is directly connected to your brain. Heal that gut biome, clear out those parasites from your digestive tract. Understand how to eliminate the dairy, eliminate the processed foods and inflammatory oils and all that meat, because they're feeding the parasites as well as the gut biome imbalance. And so when you cut these things out and you start learning how to cut them out in an effective way that you're not going to crave them and then go back to them, but realize that they're not supporting you, you will start to feel better and see the change in your body. Not just, oh, I look good, so then now I feel good, but actually start feeling good and then be like, oh, and my body's catching up to it too. Start drinking water at the first start of your day. This is something, the first thing that you should come in contact with your body that you consume is water. I say this all the time, and my niece said it and I loved it because she said it to her kids, and I was like, this is so true. When you start your day with water, you're waking your brain up, and waking your brain up wakes up all your systems. So when you start your day with water, you're literally starting your day with a flush. You're literally starting your day with hydration. So if you're not starting your day with water, but instead you get up and you start eating, or you're drinking coffee or whatever else before you drink water, you're already throwing off your balance. You're starting your day this way. So understand that no herbal tea, no supplement, no medication, no tincture, none of that is going to work if you are not setting yourself up to use food as your medicine first. I show how to use herbal healing, but I show that after you learn how to use food as your medicine, eating a rainbow plate, and understand how to do that. You cannot supplement anything in before you're using food as your medicine. When you start using your food as your medicine, and let's say that you are, which I just did, that's not my experience, but let's say that you are for some reason still deficient in some way, shape, or form, then you can start adding in an herbal supplement, a herbal tincture, or herbal tea, etc., etc. Because I do drink my herbal teas, but I'm not deficient where I have to rely on it. I drink a herbal tea when I know, let's say, my cycle is coming. I need more of this. I need more iron. I need to be more rich in this. So then I start drinking my herbal teas to make sure that I'm supported. But I'm not using it as something to completely get that source, if that makes sense. So the next thing you have to do in this step strategy is eat high fiber foods. Chia seeds, flax seeds, your greens. These are going to help you be able to flush those toxins and that waste out, because fiber is how you go to the bathroom. What are we lacking in America? Fiber. 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 We're lacking fiber. Too many of y'all are having issues going back and forth to the bathroom. Look at your fiber intake. You can't sit here and take a fiber supplement, because fiber supplements are not absorbed. They're not natural. Your body cannot naturally use the fiber supplement because it's not a natural fiber. Your Fiber One bar has fake fiber. Your fiber added foods have fake fiber. Your Cheerios that they love to say is a heart healthy cereal is not heart healthy, and it has no natural fiber. Like they put these things on here for marketing, and Cheerios was sued a couple of years ago for it too. So they put these things for marketing and lie to you and let you know that, hey, this is a chemical additive that I put in here. It's for you to be able to get nutrients, because this has no nutrients in it. And they strip it and then slap fake nutrients, and your body cannot absorb nor use fake nutrients. So if you are somebody who is looking for help to cleanse and to reset your body, and you are sitting here like, I'm not necessarily looking for hormonal imbalance. I'm not necessarily looking for hormonal issues, but rather just like, I need to cleanse, I need to reset. I'm having issue with parasites. I'm having issues with my gut. My detoxing and cleansing guide is going to help you, because it not only goes over anti-inflammatory foods, gut rebalancing, it goes over microplastic detoxing. It gives you how to eat a rainbow plate and understanding and breaking down each fruit and vegetable that gives you a rainbow plate in each category to gain all the nutrients that you need. You don't need a magnesium supplement. You need to eat your magnesium. Okay, that's one thing that everybody's talking about is magnesium supplements. Why are you not eating your magnesium? It also helps you be able to detoxify, because it gives you cleansing and detoxing help in that guide. Fruit and vegetable cleansing specifically shows you how to effectively fast and to learn how to fast. It's all linked in my bio. It is 6 booklets in one template guide. So it's 7 total, 7 things in one bundle. This is going to allow you to be able to break that cycle and to be able to help you be able to detox and to cleanse. But if you were somebody who is sitting here dealing with the issue of, okay, my feminine cycle is off, my hormones are off, I'm sitting here trying to figure out what's going on with my hormones. Thank you for the follows and the likes, guys. I see you. I appreciate it. And I'm trying to figure out what in the world is going on, because I'm dealing right now. It's getting really better, but I broke out and it's like itchy acne, and I was trying to figure out what's going on, and I actually came in contact with something, not food wise, but what is it called, product wise, that's the word I'm thinking of, product wise, that irritated the mess out of my skin. I was putting it on my hair because this is not my hair, so I didn't care really, but then I started to think, I'm like, this is coming in contact with your skin. I bet it's this hair product. Why did all the acne start healing as soon as I stopped putting that hair product on it? So my point is that we're fully aware as well as we should be. I have been living this life for over 4 years now, so it was pretty easy for me to pick up on very quickly, my skin doesn't do this, why is it doing this, and what is happening? Because I don't have a bunch of toxins in my life, but rather there was one specific thing that I changed. So I was able to pinpoint that one specific thing very quickly to be like, oh, that's what happened. But y'all, a lot of people, especially I feel like the ones in the chat, I'm not going to say specifically you, but I'm just going to say y'all Y'all have so many toxins, you cannot pinpoint exactly what is throwing you off. So this is the reason why you have to change your lifestyle completely. Because you can change, you stop eating meat, or you can change, you stop eating dairy. But then dairy and meat are both inflammatory. It's not going to work for you. You just cut out one thing and you didn't get to the root cause of the full source. And so this is what I teach, and this is the reason why I'm teaching this in a masterclass of how to completely rebalance your hormones. You need to start eating, moving, and living aligned with your cycle, and learning how to do this so that you can thrive and not have these painful menstrual cycles, these mood swings, these hormone struggles. Because this is our reality that we are living in currently, and we're raising each generation after us to not know how to take care of our body. We're dealing with the same generation of women that are dealing with PCOS and fibroids, cysts, endometriosis, and we're not realizing that we don't have to live with this. We don't have to have a surgery, because surgeries, all they do is just promote it growing back, because it's not dealing with the issue at hand. And so if you are struggling and you are ready to take control and you want that balance and you want a blueprint to help you be able to get that balance, you will be getting a step-by-step plan that helps you be able to swap and to heal and to release that. Hold on, it's asking me to verify myself. You are going to get a full step-by-step plan that is going to help you be able to do that. Support your body in deep diving in the background of not only spiritually, psychologically, but also give you that education of on your cycle, understanding what is going on with your gut health, and detoxing. But also be able to give you guidance into what you need to do to start healing and how you start doing that for yourself. And if you are in the space where you know that you're ready to heal and you are serious about healing, that masterclass is linked in my bio. It will be happening this month. And so if you are ready to start learning how to balance your body as a woman and get the blueprint that has helped me and helped me be able to transform my hormones and my health, then you need to get in that masterclass. The tickets are limited. It's not an endless amount of signups. The tickets are limited. I haven't decided what the cap is going to be, but I am limiting it because too many people will get in there and there'll be too many questions. If you have any questions right now before I get off, I will be taking questions. So for whoever is ready, that link is in my bio. Like I said, all of my links are in my bio. Go check that out. But what questions do you guys have for me? I will be answering them. And if you don't have any, we're going to be getting off for the day. It is about to be 1:30. I don't know if I'm going to eat this early or not. I haven't decided yet. Like I said, I intermittent fast every single day. So I don't know if I'm going to eat this early or not. If I do, it'll be something smaller. I think I have some grapes. I think it might be the only fruit that I have. I ate all my oranges. I might only have grapes left. And I'm fine with grapes, honestly. I love grapes. And they're sweet, too. I love some good sweet grapes. What questions do you guys have for me? I'm sitting here, I'm like, I'm just trying to talk myself into being hungry, but I do love a good grape. No questions? None? I mean, I'll give you about, like, one more minute, and then I'm out this shindig. If you guys have no questions, I'm happy that I've covered everything. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube, the link is in my bio for my YouTube as well. What do you mean, boo? I'm not premenopausal, so I really don't know what you mean. By is premenopause that bad? Are you asking about the symptoms? Are you, because I don't know what you mean. We're going to have to clarify a little bit more, flesh that out for me. I'm trying to see. I hope this isn't. Oh, I don't think it's going to play out loud anyway. Just kidding. I think it's fine. You're premenopausal, but you didn't know that you were premenopausal. Premenopause is not bad. The problem is the symptoms that you're having with premenopause. That's the issue. I'm not saying you have symptoms, because you could be perfectly fine, not have any symptoms. But the problem is that women are having symptoms, and these symptoms are made normal. Like, the reason why you're having all of this backlash and all this, like, kickstart of issues is not it's not because, oh, this is something that just came because you're premenopausal, and it's not something that just came because you were like, oh, now my hormones are out of whack. Your hormones have been out of whack. That's the problem. It's not the fact that you're now premenopausal and your hormones are getting out of whack. Your hormones were already out of whack. And so that premenopause has really onset and started showing more major signs that has triggered you to be like, like, what's going on? And so, yes, you're still going to have your monthly cycle because you're premenopausal. You're not in menopause where you're stopping your cycle, but you're premenopausal. So that's a sign to let you know, like, obviously you have been in balance for quite a while. And so the issue is not premenopause, because premenopause is a natural thing. I don't know what your age is, but I don't need to know. You don't have to tell me your age. I'm just saying this to say that many women are dealing with that thought process of, oh, I hit 40. I'm hitting that peak of, I no longer am in my peak fertility. I'm no longer be able to have children. But when you look at the women who, especially societies, they eat more plant-based lifestyles, and you see, especially because I think a woman just got pregnant in her 70s or something. There's a lady who got pregnant super late in her life, okay? You will realize when you look at these studies and you look at the way that these people live who are getting pregnant in their 50s and 60s, etc., because not a lot of people do research, and nor are we told these things in the US, because in the US we're told, oh, once you hit past 30, it's over with, or going downhill, you already hit your peak, etc. They love to throw those things out there, right? But we're not realizing that the only reason why we go through premenopause symptoms so early, the reason why we have these infertility issues after 30, because 40 is not old, nor is 50 old. You're older in life, but you're not old. People are not realizing it's because you have been throwing off your hormones since you have started eating. And then by the time that you started your cycle, you didn't start syncing with your cycle. So when you hit 30s and 40s and you've been throwing off your menstrual cycle for 15, 20, 30 years, yes, you are going to be imbalanced. Yes, your body is no longer going to be able to be in the capacity to hold a child because you have an overload of inflammation. More likely than not, you have a fibroid or a cyst already, but you haven't been diagnosed for it. And so, yeah, that's the reason why we hit our, as society loves to put it, our peak of fertility, and now we're infertile and we can't do it anymore. And it's not suggested for you to have a child. It's not because your body can't handle it, or your body's not designed to have children at that age. Because I cannot think of what the biblical reference of the lady's name is right now, because I'm so used to reading my Hebrew Bible, and Hebrew names are completely different from English names. But in the beginning, when, and I can't even remember his name right now, but I'm not going to say Saul, but I'm going to say one of the beginning people, they had a child with their servant. Their wife was not giving them children. He kept praying and asking for children. God told him to wait. He didn't wait. And then after the fact, when he got his child, he was saying that, like, this probably was like his destiny. This is the way that he was supposed to go. They were believing that his wife was too old, all these different things, right? His wife gets pregnant. So this is what I mean by God didn't make no accidents, nor did he make you infertile. There's a point. There's a reason why there are so many women not able to have children right now. And it's not because their body's not designed the way that it's supposed to be. It's because they're not doing what they need to do. And it's a generational curse that they have a hold of. And a lot of people are not putting two and two together, because we love to talk about generational curses when it comes to wealth, but we don't talk about generational curses when it comes to health. We talk about how it runs in my family. We don't talk about generational curses of doing the same thing, expecting different results. That generational curse of you're not producing children because you're not going to make a healthy child to produce more healthy bloodline. And I'm not saying or doing God's will of speaking of saying you don't deserve kids, but that is a tell sign to let you know maybe God didn't want you to have them in the space that you were in. And there's so many people who get released from that curse and then they get blessed with a child, because he wanted you in this space to raise a healthy bloodline. He didn't want you to raise the same toxic bloodline. And we have to get away from that. We have to get away from that curse. And we are cursing ourselves. And I refer back to this, and I keep forgetting to look up the verse so I can get it right, but it's either in Ephesians or Romans. And I feel like it's in Ephesians. I think I said Romans last time, but I keep going back and forth, and I need to look it up, but I think it's in Ephesians, that talks about the fact that when you were following the Most High in his ways, you get his blessings, you receive his blessings. But when you are not following his ways and you're choosing the enemy, he gives you to the enemy. And when he gives you to the enemy, what rewards you reap? Your reap what you sow. What you reap is illness and disease, and then eventually wasting away. So what is our society doing right now? Because I'm not seeing a society of people that are reaping benefits of his blessings. I see a bunch of people dealing with the same issue: illness, disease, wasting away. So we have to get away from this societal norm of thinking that this is all normal and I'm going to keep doing this and I have to go through this. This is why I was led to start doing the business that I do. And I give you all the free content for people to be able to get started, but not enough people are taking action. So that's the reason why I have paid things, because you'll ask for something free all day long. And I'm so happy to provide all the free information that I give you, but there's a point that I draw the line. Because I wanted something for myself, and guess what I do? I started paying into things that help me be able to better myself. This is the reason why we all sit here and talk about it's so gung-ho, you must go to school. What do? You pay to go to school. I'm not going to sit here and reiterate the same thing and keep educating you on the same thing that I give on TikTok and then expect to go into a private setting and keep doing the same thing for free and you not doing anything about it. I know for the people that are ready and that are determined for a change, they're going to be like, you know what? Because I see when you look at my results, because they're on my page, I literally posted my before and after. When you look at the results and you see what I look like before, you see the evidence right there in front of your face. That right there alone shows you. And then I break down everything that has happened for me. I break down what's going on inside of your body, because my body and your body function the same. There is no skepticism. There is no scam. There is no trying to figure it out and guessing it. It's a strategy. And it's the matter of, do you want my strategy or do you want to figure out your own? If you want to figure out your own, it's great. Plenty of people do it. I did it. It took me years. It took a lot of time. It took a lot of trial and error. It takes a lot of time that people don't have. You can figure out your strategy. It could take you years. It could take you months. I hope it's shorter for you. But when you are looking for a solution, not a band-aid or a momentary thing, but an actual solution that's sustainable, I have that. And I love to share it. But I'm not going to sit here and beat a dead horse, because you have the information. It's a matter of, what do you want to do with it? Do you want it? You can get everything that I have with Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay. So it's not the matter of, oh, I don't have it right now, or I can't do this right now. It's a matter of, do you want to heal right now? Do you want to support yourself right now? You guys are so welcome. What other questions do you guys have for me? Thank you for the likes. What other questions do you have? We had a Q&A. It will be posted tomorrow. There was a quick Q&A that I did last week. I try to do Q&As at least once a month. I don't know when our next Q&A will be, because we just started this month. We might do a Q&A before the masterclass. I think I might do that. Before the masterclass, I might do a Q&A to see what other questions and concerns that I can really elaborate on for that masterclass. That masterclass is going to be, I think, I haven't set a definitive date, but I want to say it'll be either the week of the 15s. It'll either be the week of the 15th or it'll be the week of the 20th. I feel like it'll be the week of the 15s though. I feel like that'll be the week between the 14th to the 18th. I feel like it'll be that week. Sometime will be that masterclass. I haven't set a definitive date because I have to look at my schedule. You guys are so welcome. If you have any more questions that you don't want to ask on live, always, like I say this, my DMs are always open. Go subscribe to my YouTube if you're watching this later on YouTube, because I post all of my past lives on YouTube. I hope that this was great content. Leave any questions that you have down in the comments. I answer my comments. My DMs are always open on TikTok, on Instagram, Facebook. I don't really get on it, but you can DM me on Facebook if you're on Facebook. I'm trying to think if I went through my whole rundown. Go subscribe, like the video on YouTube. If you're watching this later on, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Happy Wednesday. If you're not on my email list, I know I was forgetting something. I send out a wellness email every single Wednesday. I send out a wellness email of what I've been researching, what's going on, if it's healthcare related, if it's just health related, if it's plant-based related, whatever that I find out that is breaking news, or I've been researching, or I know that's impactful information, I send it out on there. We're focusing on women, so it's been a lot of women-based, hormone-based things, but get on that. I send out a wellness email every single week, so you've been missing a lot of weeks of wellness emails. Last year I did plant-based recipes. Every Friday we did food Fridays. So if you're on my email list, you get so many free perks and bonuses. This is what and you know when I go live. So this is what I mean by I give plenty of free content for you to be able to start changing. So it's a matter of, what do you want to do with the information that you have? And if you're not doing anything with it, you don't want real change, and I'm sorry. That's just you, and I can't force it, and I'm not going to force it. But if you are ready for change and you're looking for that, and you want a strategy, and you want a foolproof set strategy, I have that linked in my bio. I have all the things to support you in getting started. Eating away diabetes. I have a cookbook for that. I have a starting plant-based cookbook, a beginner guide. I have plenty of things for you to be able to go to the lifestyle that you were looking for to heal rather than just managing. So I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. I'm going to get off. I'm not seeing any more questions. I appreciate each and every one of your comments, the likes. Thank you for being here. I will be back live either tomorrow or Friday because I try to go live 3 times a week. I went live on Sunday, so I'll try to go back live either tomorrow or Friday. If you're on my email list, you'll know. If not, be looking out for me. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday. Be safe.